Everybody, how you doing? I'm Paps, the Racing VTuber and artist, and today we're going to be working on a little bit more of the comic. Hey, I don't really have a preamble this time around, so let's just hop right into it. Yeah, I'm ready for this. I've even taken my arms off preemptively. I can put them back on like in just a minute, but I need to. I sort of gotta keep repeating this, but I do need to find a way to make a little tablet drawing asset so that I can start. Oh god, hang on. Yeah, another thing for the people listening to this live, I've recently found a bunch of like royalty-free music. Unfortunately, they are in like individual tracks with like no cohesive theme. So my general kind of approach to this is just going to be like let it play in the background, and if it starts to get weird, I'm just going to skip the track. This is the worst possible experience that I could offer, but it's fine. It'll get cut out in the VOD. I'm not worried about it. Not in the least. And if it gets too crappy, I can just shut off the music entirely. I do wonder sometimes if I actually like need music as part of the stream experience. I feel like something would be lost if I didn't have at least some kind of background noise going on, you know? Okay, I see. Yeah. You see what I mean? Like, it's very disparate. Alright, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to clear that playlist. I'm going to go back to the normal music that I use. Yeah, I do think that I need to like either get a specialty made like stream music, and I can't just like try doing whatever the hell I can, you know? I don't know how else to put it. Like sometimes you try to you take a little gamble, right? You try to do a little something. Doesn't really work out, but that's fine. Then it is kind of funny how quickly I had to shut that down, though. Like, we were 2 songs in, I was immediately like, yeah, no, this sucks. They say it's good to try new things, but I do think you need to, like... How do I put this? Like, it needs to be within reason to some extent, right? You can't just, like, try new things willy-nilly. Let's see... Speaking of music, I think that I read somewhere that apparently they're auctioning the suit that John Travolta wore in Saturday Night Fever, I think it was called. Which is not a movie that I have ever seen in my entire life. I've never heard of that movie before. Oh, I see. Okay, hang on. Yeah, I've never seen Saturday Night Dancing or whatever the hell it's called, but apparently the suit is going for like $200,000. I do wonder though, like if you had the option of like getting a piece of movie memorabilia, if you had the chance to get one of those, I wonder what you would pick, right? Because like I don't have anything that I feel like super strongly about. Like I look at a prop and I'm like, man, I wish I had something like that, right? I'm trying to think, right? Because that's not something that I'm not a huge movie guy. If there was like one prop, what would I like pick? Probably something from like an old horror movie or something. Maybe like something from an Evil Dead movie. I do remember that there was this one anecdote. Yeah, back in the day when they were making the Evil Dead movies, they were using this. What do you call it? There was this the fake blood they used, right? Because of the fact that they used like this very specific type of fake blood, it had like a sugar component in it, right? I think to thicken it. So because the main character got covered in so much blood so frequently, the fake blood actually worked against them. Hang on. Can I just like... Why wasn't I doing it like this, honestly? Anyway, what was I talking about? Right, the blood. So because of the fact that they were using like this fake blood that had sugar in it, the main character's shirt, the main actor's shirt got like so stiff from the dried up sugar that it like broke in half like a piece of paper, or not a piece of paper, like a piece of wood. And that's a real anecdote. Maybe like this. But yeah, I need to... I think like the next step in terms of like music for the channel is that I need to find... I have a couple of fumble bundles, right, that I've used that have like musical content in them, but none of those are really particularly suited to my purposes, right? They don't really capture the same vibe, the same way that the ones that I use currently do. So I need to find ones that have like... You know, like I need to find, like, I can't just rely on Humble Bundle to, you know, maybe occasionally get one. I need to like find one and seek one out on my own. Thankfully, because I've got the ones from Humble Bundle, I know where to look, right? Like, you have the name of the organization that made it each time. So it's not hard to find. I hope. Oh, I missed a spot on the choker. And on the eyes and basically everywhere else. I wasn't kidding when I said that this is probably going to be the one that takes the longest to color. But yeah, I'd like to... maybe something from the Evil Dead series is, if I had to pick a prop, I don't know. They probably don't have the original chainsaw arm, right? Like, that's not something that they would have. I know for some reason there's this one movie called like Taxi Driver or like Drive or something, where the main character's jacket becomes very famous. So it's like a white jacket with like a scorpion on it. I know a lot of dudes have replicas of that. Did they ever end up making a live-action Akira movie? If that's the case, then I would like to try to get the Kaneda's jacket. I don't know. I feel like you need to hang out with a very specific crowd if you want to pull off a Kaneda jacket, because I feel like to some extent they can't know. Like, you need to make sure that either everybody in the club knows about anime, or nobody in the club knows about anime. Right? Because like if they see you wearing like that jacket, they're going to ask questions. It's a very distinctive jacket. What other jackets are like really famous from movies? I guess there's like the Marlon Brando Streetcar Named Desire jacket, right? That became like iconic for bikers. I think that's a good example of like a really iconic jacket. But that's also an example of a jacket that became like so iconic that now nobody remembers what it's originally like referring to, right? Like it's kind of like how we can say Google something, even though we use like, DuckDuckGo or God forbid Bing, right? It's become a genericized like shorthand. I'm sure the first doctors who have worn a white coat must have thought they were pretty hot shit too, until everybody else started doing it. Man, I hope doctors still wear white coats in like the future. Granted, none of them will be nobody will have nearly as much fashion sense as like, mid Black Plague. What do you call plague doctors? Yeah, mid Black Plague doctors. Their fashion sense in terms of being tied to their career choice. Their uniform was unmatched. You could do fun little variations with it too. Lots of things you can do with a plague doctor uniform. I don't know. I just think that having a uniform for your profession is both useful and convenient for me, an artist who wants to give shorthands, who requires those shorthands in the visual medium. There we go. Let's see. Grab this. Yeah, what other cool movie props can I think of? The problem is that I have like a very narrow set of experiences with movies, right? So I don't the things that I think are cool are very much like divorced dad energy in terms of like being recognizable. Like one of my first thoughts was like, oh, like maybe the motorcycle from The Dark Knight or something. And then I remember that like that's definitely like a thing that some dude who just got divorced would definitely have in his basement or something. I don't know. There are some like possessions that you can just feel your divorced manometer kind of shooting up from the pressure. Your divorced man aura, your divorced man radius, your divorced man nen. It's like that. Yeah, the path of the divorced man is can provide many abilities, some which are considered unnatural. I think that's what Disco Elysium was about. Let's see, like that. There we go. Oh yeah, we can probably fill in the gun right here. What I remember, I knew this one like comic artist. I don't remember their name. For some reason, I remember the thing that I remember the most about them was that they had like really strong opinions about this movie called like Crawl or something, and they like constantly kept making references to it. Strong opinions. By strong opinions, I mean like positive ones, but like they kept bringing it up, right? So I was like, okay, they keep talking about Crawl. What the hell is Crawl? Apparently, in that movie, there is like a very neat looking artifact. It looks a lot like a chakram, actually. Let me see. Crawl star. This friggin' thing. Yeah, called a glaive. Yeah, so apparently this thing is like a focal point in the movie. On the other, like the thing is, right? On the one hand, on the topic of like getting like the original thing from the set and everything, I feel like if you're talking about like movie weapon replicas, you're almost better off getting like a quote unquote real version of it, because I feel like most movie set props are supposed to be a little bit like they're I feel like movie set props are supposed to be two things: durable and cheap to make, which are often at odds with each other, right? So even though it might be, sturdy enough to swing in a few scenes, I feel like it's not something that you're going to want to be able to, it's not something that you can like properly use in that sense, right? So I feel like if you're going to go for like movie replica weapons, you might as well just get like a weapon, like a real weapon that looks like the movie thing, and like practice with that or something. I don't know. I guess it's got the sentimental value, right? I imagine that a lot of like the stuff in the movie Titanic, for example, must have been already pawned off one way or another through an auction. I think that might be the case because I remember that. Okay, there's this like one convention that is near where I live. It's the only convention that isn't in like my city, more or less, which is lucky. Some people don't even get one, right? I should be grateful for what I have, but what I remember pretty clearly from that one is that there was this like one local like smithy or whatever, right? That was selling like replicas of anime and video game and movie weapons, and they had like a pretty decently sized stall. I'm talking like actually, you know, I want to say like an eighth of the space. It wasn't a very big space, but it's still like an eighth of it. And so I feel like if you want to seek out a replica of the thing, of the movie weapon or like video game weapon, it's not that hard because somebody is willing to make that for you, perhaps for coin, sometimes for free, but that's very unlikely. Actually, that's almost, in terms of statistical probability, that's almost impossible. You're gonna have to end up paying one way or another, unless somebody just loves you that much, right? But like, other than that, you can pretty much expect to pay for whatever you buy. Money can be exchanged for goods and services, etc. Let's see. Oh shit, I got the boots all wrong here. Like, yeah, here we go. There we go. Man, I really need to make sure that whenever I'm doing this like speed line thing, I'm using the correct colors. Otherwise, it's going to be a real pain to replace. Having a little bit of variety in here is good. Let's see. And like that. Perfect. Okay, looking good over there. What's the situation like over here? Very good. Okay. Then collar. Actually, no. If we're talking like any film, official release or not, the one one of the props I would actually like to get my hands on is there was this Fallout fan film called Nuka Break, made a long time ago now, and I remember that one of the protagonists got like a replica of the shish kebab from the game. I'd be interested in getting my hands on that if at all possible. Mainly because it's just a cool looking sword. Okay. Let's use a melee pen right here. Yeah, I wonder what those people are doing nowadays. I remember they also had like a spin-off series featuring one of the characters, but I don't remember really what that one was about. I never really got into that one as much as I did the main one. Okay, so right here, we're going to go ahead and paint over the black because otherwise you can't see the colors of Mulian's shoes. Okay. So far, so good. Oh, there we go. As I thought, it was a good call to do this on separate layers. You know, the background of the color of the human, or the alien, I suppose. Then over here. Oh, nope, that's not going to work. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I recently found out this site that mixes lo-fi music with radio tower chatter, or like you know, those airport towers that they have. Air control towers. I think that's the word. Anyway, I found a place that mixes lo-fi music with like that in the background, and it sounds really nice. You know, a lot of lo-fi tracks have like stuff like old movies, you know, random snippets of anime dialogue or whatever, kind of backing them up. You know, just once I'd like to see somebody sampling like an old J drama or something rather than like an anime or something. I feel like it would bring some much needed variety into the genre. What was I doing? Right. Okay. So I think the next step would be to add some white point lines over, like around here, for example. Right. Okay. Which layer are these spikes on? Okay. Perfect. Actually, that works out really good. Actually. Okay, like this. Then, hmm. It's a little hard to see, but I think I can swing it. Then let's see. Okay, do I need to put this on like a layer above this? Okay, oh, that's gonna be tough actually. Hmm. Wait, maybe if I like. Hmm. I see how it is. Okay. Okay, I think for the moment my best bet is to grab this and lower the opacity on that a little bit. Okay, that's a bit more comfortable. I'll figure out how to like merge these together properly later. Because the thing is, right, unlike most of the other stuff, these two are like combined into a graphics layer, right? You know, so no matter what I do, I'll still have to slice them apart. Maybe one of the blending modes can help. And over here like this. Maybe like this. There we go. That should work. Okay, I think I got the hang of this. Then if I just like clear up the white space here. There we go. Okay, let's bring some of these back. You know what? It doesn't look so bad when it's like this. Although, what I could do for the ones over here is to... Alright, hang on. White point. Let me take a sip of my drink, too. Alright, so I'm going to select color gamut, this part here. Wait, what if I just made it pure black? No, that's too dark. This one seems to work pretty good, though. Maybe if I just, like, erase softly around the edges. Like, right here. Okay, I think that should work. Thank goodness, too. I don't think I know what... I don't think I have, like, a backup plan in case that one didn't work. Let's see. Okay. Let's set this one to lighten, too. And actually, while we're at it, let's add a little bit more on this side, too. Hmm. May round this one off a little bit differently as well. And that way. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. And we can also add a little bit of extra lines over here to emphasize the new ones. Flip this. There we go. Perfect. Add a little bit more point there. Okay, now it should work. Well, let's add some extra stuff to the boot and some other parts of Amelian's sleeves. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. Okay. Let's try this. And some more white flecks. Maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe I think I should make the brush a little bigger. I have been seeing, I did see on the internet the other day that there are ways to improve. Hang on. Yeah, adjusting your pen pressure. Hang on. Let's see. Brush size. I think there was somewhere you can like set your pen pressure. Preferences. Tool, tablet PC. Use mouse, touch gesture. I don't really see it in the options here. I'll figure it out some other time. One more night of using the default pen pressure settings isn't going to kill me. Although this isn't the optimal angle, I feel. Yeah, see, they're leaning to the right, so I think that means that I should lean a little bit further like this. There we go. It should be bigger. With the white and the purple, with the black and the purple alone, right? It just looks kind of like a messy streak, so I need to make the white more obvious. Now, see, that might be a little too obvious. We need like a halfway point, like maybe 50 or so. 40. Then like this. I think if I do it like this, what I'm going to need to do is also, so, I mean, I can do a couple of things, right? First of all, I can use the liquify tool a little bit to, you know, influence the direction that these go. And then the other thing I'm going to need to do is that I'm going to need to follow up in like the visual language, right? It's kind of like how you can't write a paragraph without having like a proper conclusion in an essay. If you start a point, you need to be able to see it through to the end. You're not going to get any points for not following up on it. I mean, well, no, that's not always true. Sometimes you do get points for just like offhandedly mentioning something, but it usually won't impress whoever's scoring it, I imagine. Okay, then we need to go back up here. over there. Just very carefully touching everything up. Okay, then over here. All right, good stuff. Then this one here. We'll just need to put the finishing touches on it. Then, like, here we go. Okay. Oh, the memory pen would be good here. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking earlier about how somebody like started mixing like air tower messages with lo-fi, right? We need to find like other things to do that with. Like I remember there was this one thing online that I found where it mixed it with like train sounds, and I remember thinking that that was super hype. I loved that a lot. What other things would be good with it? I don't know, maybe like some kind of like instructor droning. But then I don't think that would be very good for studying, which is like one of the main things for lo-fi, right? You know, chill lo-fi beats to study with or something. That's like the one that we've all seen on our YouTube recommended at some point, right? Maybe just a soft eraser? No, we don't need it on here. Although we can probably erase this line a little bit. Grab this. Yeah, like like going back to the train thing. I feel like that would work. That works for trains, but not for any other kind of transportation, right? Because like I don't know, maybe a bus. Do people find the sounds of a bus relaxing? I don't think so. Usually, like, and you can't do boats either, really, because of the fact that like if you're hearing some kind of like noise on the boat while you're in the boat, it's probably not a good sign. I don't know. I don't know how much boat noise boats make normally is the thing. I don't have a reference point for what's like a normal amount of noise for a boat to be making. I feel like it shouldn't be making too much noise though, unless something's going like really wrong. Then Here we go. Like that. I don't know. Do blimps make noises? Can we see if we can add like blimp lo-fi? I feel like that's. I think like maybe that's how electro swing can get a cut back into the market. You know, we start mixing it with like lo-fi. There has to be like some way we can merge these technologies. Okay. And then we'll need to add a little bit extra on the white point here. Like that? There we go. Yeah. I've been thinking about it recently, right? I use the phrase trust the process sometimes when I'm drawing. And I do wonder if that actually applies to my actual art style or not. For a couple of reasons. Main one being the fact that, hang on, I gotta check something real quick. No. There we go. Okay, I see. So like main one being the fact that the way that I do art is actually rather meticulous, all things considered, because of the fact that hang on. You know, I start with line art. I start with like proper line art, then I go to shading, and then I have like, you know, I have the fill color between that. So I feel like there's actually very little room for, you know, like unlike like people who like render it from like without a line art or anything. You know, people who like properly paint the picture. I feel like I don't have nearly that much kind of how do I put this? Freedom might not be the right word. Like adaptability. Yeah, I think that might be a better word, like adaptability. Like if I look at my drawing and I think like, oh man, this is gonna kind of get whooped a little bit. You know, I don't think there's anything that I can necessarily do about that. Rather, I need to start over a little bit, take a few steps back, cha-cha real smooth. All right, which one? Which? Okay, it's not this one. Which layer are these things on? Well, whatever. Actually, come to think of it, can't I just like reach over here, grab that color, and kind of brute force it? There we go. Hmm. Maybe like this. Maybe toning it down just a little bit would help. Okay, then after that, flip this around. Is this right? Hmm. There we go. This one in the middle here doesn't feel quite right, though. Yeah, I think it needs to be just at the very border there. No stragglers like this. Yeah, that works. That works pretty good, I think. Oh yeah. I also recently learned that there was another. Do you guys remember the Fire Festival? Do you guys remember that being a thing? If you forgot about it or just didn't straight up have not heard of it, there was this big event sometime in, I want to say 2016 because that was just the year that a lot of shit went down, but I don't remember exactly when it happened. Let me look this up. When did this happen? 2017, very close to 2016, but not quite. So during the Fire Festival, what the kind of idea, the genesis behind the Fire Festival was as follows. A bunch of rich people would pay a lot of money to go to this festival, which had all their favorite artists and all that. And that did not end up happening. So this was supposed to be like a big, like A-lister event, right? Like people like legit famous people were showing up. It was a whole thing and a half. However, crucially, none of the staff knew exactly what they were doing. The whole thing was being more or less spearheaded by this one dude who was more or less infamous for those like big growth, low return scams. You know, like scams is a strong word. Those companies, right? I mean, scam might not be that strong of a word, depending on your perspective. I certainly think that they're not perfectly honest. You know, the more cutthroat economists out there might disagree. But essentially, one of the main leaders of this whole shebang was this dude who his entire prior career portfolio was making like these super exclusive events and clubs and everything. None of which particularly worked out, but they managed to get the hype machine cranking pretty hard for this one. They thought this was going to be it, but the problem is like they didn't actually like. More or less from beginning to end, they beefed it royally. So, for example, they were supposed to have like a bunch of people attending the events. They were supposed to have a bunch of tents built up. The tents were not actually designed for the kind of climates that they were going to be used in, I think was one of the things. So a bunch of them were wrecked, or, they were overcrowded because of like they oversold the tickets or something. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on with them, I remember. But, hang on. But yeah, there was, and the worst part of it is that like a lot of the people who were like hired to work on the festival, like the caterers, the people building the like housing where like the event goers would stay in, right? They never actually got paid. They're still waiting to be paid. Well, no, at this point, I don't think they're waiting anymore, right? They either they would have gotten paid or they wouldn't have. But yeah, that's the whole sad story behind the Fire Festival. And some enterprising individual over in India was like, hey, we should try to do something like that too. So I think like it was like how many dudes was it? Like, I don't remember how many people it was that were in attendance on this news article I read, but effectively they basically rehashed the Fire Festival disaster, right? They were like, you know, they set up this big conference with a bunch of like capital leaders of capital in India. I think like between them they had like $6 billion or whatever in capital, and they were like, yeah, no, we didn't do it right this time either. Oopsie. And I don't remember reading if anybody's being sued at the moment. I think stuff is still like developing, but it's really funny that people fell for that twice. Hopefully, the workers got like a better bite of the pie this time, though. So like, I don't even remember what exactly the Fire Festival was supposed to be. I think it was like one of those places where you can just like meet celebrities. You know, I don't know if you qualify that as networking, so to speak. There was this one. I remember reading this joke once where it was like there was this like, you know, would you rather question, and one of the options was either gain $10,000 or gain the knowledge on how to gain $10,000. And like somebody was like, you know, adversity breeds success. I will take the book. I will take the book that says how to make $10,000 rather than the easy way and just get the $10,000. And he opens the book and it says, "You should have taken the money, dumbass." I feel like the people who would have said yes to like spending like the knowledge to get $10,000 would have been the same people who were like, yeah, I want to go to the Fire Festival. I feel like that was the target audience. Okay. You know what? I should actually extend the little trail here over the railing. I feel like that would look pretty slick. I don't know. The problem is, right, networking opportunities only work if, one, you're interested in making friends with the people you meet, and two, the people you meet are interested in becoming friends with you. Because if you're missing one or the other, not much is going to get accomplished. If you're not going there with the intention of making friends, then well, you're kind of wasting your money in the first place. But even if you do go in there with the intention of making friends with the people you meet, right? If they're not interested in making friends, or if they're not interested in establishing new connections, then it's not really a good opportunity. That being said, you know, you can win people over. You know, it's not like impossible to convince somebody who doesn't want to be your friend to be your friend. But it's a very difficult task, particularly when you're putting them in that scenario, right? Like if you guys are like in a closed room together, trying to convince that person that they want to be your friend is a lot more difficult. Let's see. Okay. So I think the thing to do is to open up one of the later pages right here so that I can get some reference for the shading on the ground. Okay. Where's a good place to do this? This should be good. Okay, I think this would be a good place to actually use the cross-hatching again. You know, it's got a good kind of like vibe to it. I think that's how we win on this one. We use like the hatching tools to like provide a ambiance. Ooh, it's actually really good like this, though. I should make like the Amelian's landing spot just a little bit darker to set it apart. Okay. Let's get rid of the railing for just a minute. Oh yeah, should probably also work on like the door white point. Okay. There we go. Then okay. I think I know what I need to do in the next few minutes. Thankfully, this will also get covered up a fair amount by the railing, so I don't need to be worried about being super precise. Just needs to be accurate enough. Can we expand this a little bit? Strength, lower. There we go. We'll have to do the same thing more or less up here. Right? Actually, we don't need to do this on like such a high priority layer. I think like we can probably like get away with it right here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, oh, no, hang on. We need to go a little bit lower for this one. Let me just grab these guys real quick. Cut and paste. Perfect, there we go. Okay. Then over here. Then over here. Okay, why is this place still like this? Hang on. This part too. And this one. What gives? There we go. Okay, another little dip here. And another little dip here. That's not how that... Oh, shoot, I'm on the wrong layer. Oh, I'm like way on the wrong layer. Oh my gosh. Let's not do that again. And while we're at it, let's get... Okay, that's not on the right layer then. What is... You know what? I'm not going to ask too many questions. How's that one phrase go? Ask no questions and you'll be told no lies. That always seems like such a bullshit sentiment to me anyway, for whatever reason. People will lie to you for no reason. Like, they won't lie to you because you ask them a tough question. They will lie to you, like, off the... Like, if they've been prepared to lie to you in case they ask tough questions, they will have been lying to you from... You can assume they've been lying to you off the bat. Let's see. Like this. I don't know. It feels like a Wednesday today. I don't know why. Like, I understand that it's a Thursday fundamentally, but I don't think... Like, maybe it's because I get tomorrow off, right? Because of Good Friday, but I don't... It doesn't feel like a proper Thursday. This Thursday's got something in it. Something nefarious. Yeah, no, there's like an unnatural curve there now. Hang on. Yeah, okay, that's better. Now we have to do that for the other door. How about we do it here? Okay, hard eraser. Let's do it like this. There we go. Just a little off the top. Like a nice haircut. I got a haircut the other day. Yeah. It was really interesting talking to the barbers. It's always interesting, like, the barbers in the place that I go to are always super interesting. They always have, like, stories and whatnot. But the one in particular from this time around was kind of interesting to me because they were talking about, like, the different places to live around here. You know, I think they were ranking. I asked them to like rank the top three places they lived in this country, and they said that the one they prefer is first of all the place where I'm at right now, because that's where their family lives. But if their family wasn't there, then their favorite would have been this other place that has like fairly lower tax rates, which makes sense. Apparently, the housing crisis hasn't quite reached that place just yet. Yeah. For a 2-bedroom apartment, they're paying a little less than what I'm paying for my 1-bedroom apartment now. It's crazy how like prices can change from place to place. Although to be fair, there has been like a property crisis where I'm at because of the pandemic. So maybe it's not fair to hold them to the same standards, but I can do we can hold them to a little bit of the same standards. I don't think it's out of the question. And I do have to wonder how they managed to retain those low tax rates, because from what I've seen, most places up here have like tax rates that range between like 10-12%, maximum. This place apparently has like a 5% one, which is phenomenal to me. There we go. Then how about we start working on the shading? First, I need to do this on a separate layer. That would be point one. Point two is that I need to lower the saturation on it a little bit because it looks a little unnatural. Then for the next part, I can just use the Milli pen. There we go. Okay. This one's basically like all covered over here, so. Yeah. Speaking about the Fire Festival earlier, I do wonder if I'm ever gonna find a music festival that I want to go to. I think Coachella had like Hatsune Miku in it for a little while, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's gonna be fun. Maybe there was like a ska themed one or something. I don't know. A lot of the musical acts that I'm into don't really get to go to music festivals, or rather, the ones that I want to listen to live. Like like I listen to Daft Punk, for example. Everybody would like to see Daft Punk at a music festival, even though they broke up. But like, you know what I mean. Like for example, we are the no. That's another thing too, right? So when the musical people that I want to listen to live don't tour up north, right? Like I think, for example, We Are the Union. They make great ska, right? But I don't think they are planning to do a Canadian tour anytime soon, because like touring itself, even though it's one of their best forms of income, for musicians, it's not super sustainable for them, and it's also just difficult to get to certain places. So, it's very unlikely. Not impossible, just unlikely. Then over here. Oh, that's going to bug the crap out of me. Hang on. You see like a thin line all across here. Probably from some poor filling that I did in an earlier stage. Sheesh. Let's go fix that up in the... Oh, no, wait, that's covered by the panel anyway. Alright, I don't need to worry about that one then. Or at least not that much, right? I can do a little bit, a little bit for my own guilty conscience, but it's not like a high priority item. Besides, it's not all that noticeable either. Okay, then around here, I will create a very small drop shadow for these two. Then use the rough eraser to get rid of parts where it's not supposed to be. There we go. That blue shading from below isn't supposed to be up here. While we're at it, let me use the kneader eraser a little bit on this shadow, so it's a little more subtle. Okay, now we can probably try to focus up a little bit on two things. First, we'll need like a darker version of this color. Okay, I think the easiest way to do it after this point is to use the select color gamut thing. And we can use the soft eraser for these ones to make sure they don't blend too much with the doors. And then a little bit here and there. Mainly on the border railing right here. Border railing. I don't think that's a real term. I mean, I can make it a real term. The English language is ripe for a new language revolution. I feel like I feel like we do need to Shakespeare it up a little bit and introduce a couple new words to the English language. We've been doing a good job with like making words mean other words, but I feel like we need to have, to some extent, a new wave of like brand new words, fresh out of the box, never seen before. Of course, linguistics makes me cry, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take up the role myself, but somebody must be able to come up with a word at some point, right? How hard could it be to make it to be? How hard could it be to make an entire language? Let's see. Let me blend some of these together. That's the blur tool. That's not the blend tool. Let me try that again. And then we'll add the railing, and that should be the end of that. I mean, can I do a little bit of like lightning right around here so that it like increases the contrast a little more, Then the door. The door's gonna be easy enough, actually. This might be a bit too dramatic for the shading, though. Let me try blending it. All right, how about this one? Ooh, that's much better. I like that one. They do say a little goes a long way. Although I need to turn off the railing again for my convenience. Just like that. And then I think the next step would be, after that, adding like some basic curving shadows. But in order to do that, let me go back to the background layer. Yeah. Another thing that I've been reading about, right, is that apparently milk isn't as popular with Zoomers as it was in previous generations, for a couple of reasons. Mainly that apparently milk, lactose intolerance is becoming a much more common phenomenon. So a lot of people are like being like, "Hey, this ruptures my stomach. I'd rather not drink it," and everybody else is going like, "Yeah, sure, okay," because that's a reasonable concession to make. I feel like we don't need to be super. I don't feel like lactose intolerant people should be suppressed. Let's see. Yeah, also during the during the Gen X and Gen Y eras, there was also a much greater call to action, kind of organized by different groups to ensure that people were drinking more milk. Which sounds like a crazy thing, but it's true. Like, the reason that... Hang on. Oh, I'm on an incorrect layer. Yeah, there we go. Oh! Jump scare. Sorry. It occurs to me that by saying jump scare after yelling a little bit like that, I might have accidentally jump scared the people watching, right? I was about to say jump scare the people reading, but I don't think anybody's reading this unless they're actually taking advantage of those captions that I've got down there. If you do enjoy the captions, let me know, because I think they're just basically here to stay now. It feels weird not having them, right? Like, the thing is, as the person who is doing the stream, I don't get a whole lot of feedback in terms of oh, fuck me. I don't get a whole lot of feedback in terms of just whether it's working or not. Obviously I have the little stop streaming, the little 30 FPS CPU thing on OBS, but besides that, I don't really have much in the way of a clear indication that everything is functioning as intended. I like to believe that the caption box serves that purpose, because out of the corner of my eye, I can see it moving. I can see it changing words. And it's great that it does that because that reassures me, in a limited way, but like nevertheless, that that everything's going as it's supposed to. That everything is working as intended. Let's see then. This should be good for the background color on the doors, or for the yellow. Oops, hang on. I'm guessing this one must be from up around here. Which layer is this on? Oh, here we go. Let me do it properly here. Maybe like this. That's too... I mean, how does that look with the other panel as well? Okay, first of all, I'm seeing a little bit of a gap there, so that's not going to work very well. But I think, other than that, maybe if I add a little bit of a gradient. There we go. That creates some nice ambiance, and it leaves enough space for like sound effects, so I think that should be fine. As for the characters, I feel like I should do a little bit of something for Hawk's helmet, but maybe not for the rest of the shading. I feel like introducing too many shadows at this point would be ill-advised. I don't know, maybe it'll look nice, but I don't want to risk that. I don't know, I feel like this panel would be very easy to, do too much to. Nah, we could probably go for it. I don't think it's going to be that dramatic. Just a little bit here and there, Having the darkened thing here will also help it stand out a little more. There we go. Adding a little bit of like darkness to this part right here should also help a little. Maybe with a spray brush. What's the polyline tool? Oh, wait, no, I can just select this part. We can also go even darker to kind of emphasize the fact that they are escaping danger. Okay, this one here is the one that we are using. So, yeah. That being said, going back to that thing that I was talking about with like the milk and everything. That being said, I feel like I do. For one thing, apparently milk does have like a small amount of protein in it. So like, if you're working out and you're worried about like getting sore the next day, it's better to drink a little bit of milk than to drink nothing or just normal water. And I've also seen some people do some really interesting things with milk. The best two things that I can think of is the one time I saw a dude make plastic with milk by essentially like cooking it with vinegar, I think was the way he did it. The plastic, I tried it myself and the plastic turned out very brittle and shitty, but it worked. It's not like you could make like a sword out of it or something, but like it worked. And I do follow this one cooking channel on YouTube, which honestly, I am seriously considering unfollowing that channel, mainly because like the number of ingredients that each recipe uses are anxiety inducing. Not because there's too many, but because there's too few. Right? So like they'd be like, yeah, we're making like this chocolate dessert with only like only 3 ingredients, and I look and like the 3 ingredients are like the like cocoa powder and like starch and like water, and I'm like, first of all, that sounds like it would taste awful. Second of all, why are you like? I feel like they're playing a little too close to the sun with their means. I feel like that they're for sure going to get smacked down for their hubris, but they just keep decreasing the number of ingredients, and it stresses me out. Soon they're gonna have like negative ingredients. You cook whatever they show you, and you end up with more stuff in your pantry. They're gonna be like the first freaking paracalcal recipe makers. Okay, there we go. Then for the pants, we go to page 3. Page 3 has honestly been a godsend because it has like clear references for everybody's clothing. I got a Hawks pants, I got a Chameleon's pants, I got a Chameleon's shoes. It's got everything I need so far. Yeah, to my delight, adding the shading has actually helped to improve the readability a little bit. Okay. There we go. And then for Chameleon, very similarly, we're just going to go in like quick and dirty. It hurts because like the background is purple and Chameleon is also purple. That's what's bothering me about this. Okay. Like that. Then like this. I'm gonna do a little bit of a soft eraser right here because of the fact that just the angle at which the line ends makes it a little bit awkward. Okay, and then the skin. Okay, this shoe will be entirely shaded. This one will only be partially shaded. Oh, good. Oh, good lord. All right, on which layer is it this time? All right, I'm just gonna brute force it on this layer. Why not? Okay, there we go. Good stuff. Okay, then we're going to move on to the other part here. Let's see. Yeah, the shading for the white bit is a little bit different. I don't think this like light purple white color shows up anywhere else on Amelian's palette, so it's a little bit unusual seeing it. The shading for the shoe. There we go. Then after that, I forgot about Amelian's skin altogether. Somehow that feels typical for me at this point. I gotta get it together. I don't know. Sometimes when you're just like on like a regular routine, you feel like you're taking 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. You know, for every little bit of progress you make, you're also like losing a little bit of progress somewhere else, which is fine. Honestly, that's how it should be. I mean, imagine if you never forgot anything that you learned. It'd be cool, sure, but like it would hurt your head after a while, I imagine. Yeah. There we go. No, giving Emilian like the kind of like overshadowed eyes is a little bit creepy there. Just the golden trim left, I think. All right, what's going on with this one? Is it also the same spot as the others? There it is. Out with the old and with the new. Okay, then over here. Yeah. Recently I read a plot. I've been thinking about like trying to write a rehash of like the what do you call a fistful of dollars slash Yojimbo. That I started with that kind of structure, and I've never read right. I've never read the stories of like surrounding those characters before, and oh my god! So if you've never heard of either Yojimbo or a fistful of dollars, it's a very typical kind of like Western. Oops, which layer am I on? Oh, I see. It's a very typical kind of like Western setup because of the fact that like. So the way it goes is that a stranger wanders into town, finds out that two local powers are feuding. In Yojimbo, it is a gambling hall, and the so okay, so two local powers are kind of feuding. The stranger who wanders into town decides that either A, these people are scumbags and need to be put to justice, or B, he could probably make a bag out of this situation one way or another. So then usually he goes to impress one or both of the sides involved in the conflict with his martial prowess. In Yojimbo, it's with a sword, and in Fistful of Dollars, it's obviously with a gun. And he ingratiates himself to one of the sides. I think and then after that happens, there's like a big raid that begins, right? So in Yojimbo, I think there's this magistrate that stops by and it's like, "Hey, what's going on over here?" And like immediately, both of the sides have to be like, nothing. We're definitely not about to have it out in a life or death battle." I remember the points of Yojimbo better because I think it's a little bit better constructed than Fistful of Dollars is. I feel like Fistful of Dollars has like a little bit too much going on at once. So like anyway, after the raid fails because of a magistrate, in Yojimbo, the stranger is like, "All right, well, I guess we're not actually going to have some bloodshed today, so I guess it's back to the drawing board." So he goes to a bar, and in the bar, he overhears two of the grunts from the opposite side to which he aligned himself, discussing the fact that they killed somebody one town over to distract the magistrate. So he captures those guys, hands them over to the first pair, but then he goes over to the opposing side and says like, "Yo, they captured the guys who carried out the hit. Holy shit, you guys want me to kidnap the other side's son or something so that you guys have some leverage also?" And obviously the opposing faction is like, yes, that sounds like a good plan. So he does that. And then there's a hostage exchange. Yeah. The hostage exchange always happens, right? So usually what happens is that for some reason or another, they lose the leverage over one of their hostages. But in return, one of the other sides is like, "Okay, listen, you may have our son hostage, but we have the mistress of one of your dudes too. So how about that?" And usually the mistress is, originally the wife of one of the people that the stranger met, but she's been taken into custody because like the people ruling over the town are like dirty pervs or whatever. So then the stranger goes like, "Well, shit, I kind of owe that guy, so I might as well rescue their partner." So he does. And then he blames it on the other side, naturally. It usually escalates into like an all-out battle, and it usually involves the stranger being transported out of the town in a coffin at some point. But yeah, I've been looking into those. It's just buck wild to me that back in the day you could just like do whatever the hell you wanted. I'm glad it's not that way anymore. As fun as it would be to ditch my name forever and live as like a dancer in Portugal or something, I feel like it's probably for the best that most people can't do that. I feel like it definitely took the wind out of a lot of scammer sales. I respect the hustle, but I don't like getting scammed. Okay, I think that's it for this panel. Time to move on to the next one, which is going to be rather interesting because I'm going to have to cut this one, right? I'm going to have to figure out, okay, so like, okay. Okay, I think I see what I need to do. I'm going to merge these guys together. And then I'm going to merge these guys together. And this way, I have the background and the characters. Hmm. This is okay. It should be fine. Anyway, let's go ahead. Okay, we're gonna need to first of all turn off the one in the background here, so that we have a little bit. What is that? What is that? Where did that come from? Hang on. What the hell? Well, I guess it's not exactly broken, but it bugs me that I don't know where that came from. Because it's not this layer. That would have been contained within the panel. So, oh, wait, would have been... Okay, there we go. Okay, I see where it came from. Okay, that's fine. Mystery solved. Okay. First things first, I think the best idea is to convert layer opacity to brightness, or brightness to opacity. There we go. Then okay, I'm going to lower the opacity on these guys just so I have a little bit of a better idea of what I'm working with, right? So actually, since the background is just the floor and I've already done the white streaks, I can really more or less just grab this and, you know, kind of add a little bit of ambiance around. A little bit of diffusion. I think the aerosol would be better for this. The airbrush, yeah. I almost called it a blow brush for some reason. That's not its name. I was about to call it like a blow brush, and I was like, no, that's not right. That can't be right. I think it's because of the word blowgun. I remember blowgun to me is like one of those like what do you call, like primordial words, right? Like I remember learning blowgun as a child. I don't know what the context was precisely, but I do remember learning it. Let's see. Convert brightness to opacity. There we go. And then we can just shut these guys off and these guys. And then do our thing. This one should actually be a lot faster to do, even though it's more complex. It annoys me that that's how that works, but what can you do? It's like that phrase, right? Don't never underestimate people. That's not really a phrase, that's just a thought, but you know, you shouldn't underestimate or overestimate how much gas it's going to take you to do something. Hmm. Maybe it's because like the other one was like actually fairly complex. To be fair, this has like a more complicated angle and everything, but it's not like it's particularly, you know, inscrutable. Like the action on this one is much more clear, I think, and because of that, I think I have an easier time figuring out. Okay, I have to do this and that. Hmm. Hang on, I need to switch the area scaling back to 2, or else it'll never end. Oh, yeah. Going back to that thing about milk, I also learned that apparently there's a bubble tea bubble in the pipe, So everybody loves bubble tea for good reason. Bubble tea is delicious. I like it personally. I know some people aren't actually super huge fans of it. In high school, there was a bubble tea shop right across from where I studied. Sometimes during lunch, I'd get out of the school and get bubble tea there as my lunch. Because if you got yourself a large one, like a fairly large one, because of the tapioca bubbles and everything, it basically feels like a meal. I am so lucky I did all that stupid nutrition and shit in my epic teens rather than in my epic 20s. Because if I tried to do that now, I feel like I would like keel over from scurvy. I'm just saying, if I'd have known how resilient I was back when I was a kid, I would have done a lot more stupid shit. Physically stupid. I would have done intellectually stupid much fewer, in exchange. It would have been a delicate balance, but I would have managed to keep it. Yeah. Like, it takes a very specific, certain degree of intelligence to be a true idiot, you know that? Like, I feel like if like a normal dumbass does dumbass things, right? That's kind of par for the course. They already have that reputation as dingus, right? So it's not going to be. It's the damage they can cause is mitigated because nobody trusted them in the first place. However, if like a smart person does something stupid, then all hell breaks loose because nobody expected them to fail. There weren't any like safety guards in place. They had a lot more trust extended to them. Which isn't to say that we need to start extending trust to people who will very obviously do something dumb with that trust. But like at the same time, I'm just saying, maybe we need to think about the reasons why some things are like the way they are. Or rather, I think it's like a very important self-assessment tool, right? Like, is this like going to fail ever, or is this just like yet to fail, right? I found that like, and this is gonna sound really pessimistic, but I promise it's not. It's important to ask yourself, especially when things are going well, if they aren't going too well. Because in my experience, in most of my cases, right, that usually means that something's gone like, if things are going a little too well, I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh no, things are going too well, the universe is going to punish me for it. That's not me, right? What I am saying is, if that things are going a little too smoothly, you need to be able to anticipate if they no longer go smoothly, not just because paranoia and good old fashioned paranoia, but also because of the fact that when things are going well, you're actually in your best position to kind of devote that kind of cognitive load to the possibility of things going wrong. Also, I remember now that I forgot to shade the eye things here. The goggles. The eye things? Did I seriously just call the goggles the eye things? Well, you heard it here first, folks. A brand new word for goggles, the eye things. Somebody tell Double Fine. You know, when I was a kid, I used to think that, like, maybe it's because I watched a lot of Digimon as a kid, or rather, just a lot of the first season of Digimon. But I used to think that, like, goggles were, like, a fairly cool character design thing. But, like, as I've grown older, I've come to realize that they're not nearly. They're just kind of clunky in terms of character design. It's difficult to work them in successfully. I think that's my main gripe with goggles, is that it's difficult to work them in successfully. Like, a good set of goggles can really elevate a character, but like you need to be able to be consistent with them to the point where, like, how do I put this? Like, they need to be able to look cool from different angles, not just like one specific angle. And that's something that, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just that, like, I've outgrown it, you know? Like, for example, wearing a baseball hat backwards, right? That could still be cool in some contexts, but generally speaking, like, I used to think it was a lot cooler as a kid than I do now. I don't think I've seen a person wear a baseball cap backwards for non-function purposes. Like, the benefit of wearing a baseball cap backwards like that is that it protects your neck from the sun, right? So if it's a sunny day, you know, you're like working on something and you're mostly leaning down, that's going to cover your neck and you'll be safe from sunburns that way. Not completely safe, but fairly safe. Did we miss any other spots? No, we're good. I'm feeling pretty good, so I'll try to finish this panel and then call it a night. Yeah. Going back to that fistful of dollars thing, I actually wondered if there was like you know how there's that phrase, the oldest trick in the book? I found out that the actual book in questions is in fact a real book. Well, not literally, but, you know, there is an actual book authored during, like, I think the Ming Dynasty, called the Book of Swindles, or the Book of Avoiding Swindles. Alternatively, like, the book is written with the intent of warning the reader about whatever scams were hot at the time of the Ming Dynasty, because, like, there was a bunch of money flowing into the country at that time, right? So, you know, that meant a lot of opportunity for swindlers. So this dude, I think his name, I don't remember the name of the author, but the author's intent was to essentially, like, create a book of the most common swindles and to warn the reader about them. But the problem is that while trying to do this, he also happened to unintentionally make kind of like a small playbook for swindles, right? So it's kind of like how, like, people will like warn children about drugs, and the children will be like, "That sounds awesome," which isn't the thing that happens, I think, but, like, you know, it kind of had that same effect, like, right? Like, I don't know whether it's the author of the book itself is actually very mysterious, because nobody else wrote under that name, and he didn't write anything else after that. So it must have been just like a pick up and throw away kind of pseudonym that he used for the book. So because of that, it's actually very difficult for at least for me personally, and I imagine from an academic standpoint as well, to tell whether the book is, legitimately supposed to help the reader protect against swindles, or it's actually like secretly a guide for aspiring swindlers. I'm pretty sure it's a former though. Like, I read the author's notes of this book, right? The translator's notes, and they went a little bit into detail about the process, and they mentioned that in the original Chinese in which it was written in a very strange kind of type, because it had some of, it used very simple words. It didn't use super courtly words, but it still had some degree, some references to courtly things and stuff like that. So what they figured out was that based on that kind of use of language, the unique kind of writing structure that it had, it was very likely made for people who were, one, literate, obviously, and two, at least somewhat acquainted with upper society. So, which would mainly be, at this point in time, traveling merchants, which is super fascinating to me. I think that that's such a cool thing that you can do. Yeah, I remember one of the examples they gave was, the way that they talk about the swindles is the fact that they basically have a short narrative explain which demonstrates the swindle, and after the narrative is done, the author will chime in being like, "This is what this person did wrong. They were a dumbass. Do not be like them." And they'll move on to the next story. Which I personally think is kind of funny. It's one of the funniest ways you could do this. Let's see. Yeah, the other thing that hang on. Yeah, the other thing is that I did read a sample of one of the stories before I got my hands on the book, and they basically told the story of this cloth merchant who had a goose. Right, his neighbor owned a goose that he was raising to be a kind of, well, there's normal reasons to raise a goose. My auntie one time raised a goose in order to act like a guard dog. The thing would honk violently whenever a stranger approached. I think it was very similar in this situation. So the neighbor of this fabric merchant was raising a goose, and the fabric merchant got very annoyed by how much the goose was honking. Until one day, a thief is like, "Hey man, listen. That goose is annoying me too, so why don't we listen, if you listen to my instructions, I will kill that goose for you and make it my dinner. You won't have to do it again, and you'll have the benefit of having helped out a thief, so no other thief will bother you." The merchant, who was already happy enough to get rid of the goose, is like, "You know what? That sounds pretty a pretty sweet deal. Let's do it." And the thief is like, "Okay, listen. When I yell out to you, 'Can I have it?' You will yell back, 'Yes, you can.' I will yell back, 'Are you sure?' And you must yell back, 'Yes.' When you hear the goose stop honking, that is your cue, and that's your cue that everything's all right now." And the merchant's like, "Okay, that sounds like easy instructions. I can do that." And the thief is like, "Great." So the thief says, "Okay, so go to your little room out in the other deep within the shop, and remember, don't come out until the goose stops honking, okay?" And the merchant's like, "Okay." So naturally he goes in, and so the thief goes in and yells, "Hey, can I have it?" And the merchant goes like, "Yes." And the thief is like, "Are you sure?" And the merchant says, "Yes." Up until this point, the merchant is pretty comfortable with it. And then, he keeps hearing the honking. The honking persists. Until finally, it's way hours and hours later, and the merchant's like, "All right, listen, this is taking a long time. Let me go check what's going on outside." And he notices that half the fabrics in his store have been stolen. He's like, wait, what the fuck? So he goes to like the other people around him and is like, hey guys, did you see like a dude running out of like an armful of cloth earlier? And the other people are like, yeah, you told him that he could take it, dummy. And he realizes that like when the thief told him to say all that, it wasn't to kill the goose. The goose was unharmed. No geese were harmed in the making of this story. But the cloth merchant himself had been swindled, and naturally, his neighbors make fun of the cloth merchant for like days and days. And then the author chimes in saying, like, okay, so this guy's main error was that he wasn't courteous to animals. A gentleman should always be courteous to animals. Know this. And because he was so cruel to the goose that he was like, all right, go ahead and kill it, that's why he got swindled. You know, it had that little bit of like a moral story at the end. Anyway, let's go ahead and shade this. Oh yeah. Apparently France is about to ban electric scooters. Now, when they say electric scooters, I imagine they mean like the actual, like those like, you know those like rentable electric scooters that you can find sometimes? Like the ones that are, when I say scooter, I don't mean like a moped. I mean like an actual, you know, the scooter with like the T-shaped handlebar that is occasionally used as a children's toy. They have those where I live too. I wouldn't call them an eyesore, but it's definitely a little bit dangerous sometimes when like some of the people ride on them. Anyway, apparently France is banning those. At least I think they're banning those ones. They might actually be banning like mopeds and such. I don't think it's mopeds though. Otherwise, I would have said like electric bikes or something. Not scooters. A little bit of an error here. Does that also happen in the other one? Mm-hmm, sure does. Okay, there we go. I think that's really the only place where that happens. That and over here, too. But most of that is easily avoided. Avoided. Then after that, let's see. And with the soft eraser. Okay, patch this up right here. Perfect. Okay, grab this. Oh, shoot. There's some more patches that I need to make here. Does that happen anywhere else? Yeah, for some reason, the earlier versions of this have like these weird lines with the, what do you call, the background texture. Thankfully, they look pretty natural most of the time, but sometimes not so much. It happens here, too. Let's see. Oh, I missed a spot with Hawk over here. Okay, that should do it. Let's go fix that up over here, too. There we go. Okay. Then just a little bit more around here. Oh, there's some more over here. I think these must have been the first ones that I covered in the other one. But besides those, I think that's all the ones I missed. Perfect. Then it's a good thing that we have like everything covered now, right? We have all the like basic fill items, so now we can just kind of focus on shading. Okay. Use the soft eraser right over here. Okay, use a darker color over here. There we go. Okay. Then for the rest of a million. Well, first we're going to need to make sure it doesn't actually like overlap like this. Got a few stray bits of yellow poking out there. So we can take a minute to fix that. Okay. Cool. Then over here with the hands. And over here too. There's little bits here and there, but we can take care of those right now. Then lighten this up right here. Perfect. Okay, that should be a million more or less done. Now we just gotta finish up Hawk. While we're at it, let me right some wrongs around here. Maybe with the darker purple of the ground would be good for here. Yeah, I think that's good. What about like a darker color for the shading here? Let's see. What if, hang on, what if I just erase this part right here, the lines right here, and that way it just looks like the whole thing is the railing? I think that would work. Okay. And if I just kind of like reach on over here, start blending these downward, or using the liquify tool, or maybe, hang on, I got an idea for why this isn't working. Okay, now let's try blending it out. Yeah. Okay, I just need to have them both on the same layer. I see. All right, let's go back to the, hang on. Select, color gamut, this one here. Using the rough eraser. Perfect. Okay, then the next part would be, let's do the boots next. No, come on, I missed some spots here too. Why are you a sack? Oh, because my arms get in the way of the thing here. Hey, Leaf, been a minute. Let's see. I gotta drop by the Discord calls more often. Your arms are so short. Thanks. Yeah, the whole model in general is like a lot more compact now. Hang on. Let me show you. I am very... Yeah, I have... I got wider, but I didn't get much taller. That's how it is with these sorts of things. But now I'm much more... I have gained the power of the power stance, so I think that's a fair trade-off, if nothing else. Let's see. There we go. Did I fix this in the other page 5? I'm gonna have to go back and check. You're pocket-sized. I am. I'm easy to I'm travel sized. I'm convenient to carry around. It was my previous version. They wouldn't let you through the TSA checkpoint with me. Now, not a problem. I am under 500 milliliters. Yeah, I've become the rice ball. Let's see. Okay, then the next would be the shading on the other part of the boot. Let's see. Oh, did you ever fix that thing where your regular characters look like kind of set, or are you owning it? I fixed it, I think. I'm pretty sure that I fixed it. I think that around here was when we started to notice it, but I'm pretty sure that, page 9, for example, I think, now they are much more normally proportioned. Either way, either I haven't fixed it and I haven't noticed, or I have fixed it and everything's okay. So I'm just not going to think about it too hard. Introspections for losers. Was that a kiss? Don't worry about it. Listen, so go support the book on the Kickstarter if you want to know more. Let me see if I have a link to the Kickstarter. Let's see. Give me the linky. We are going to release the black and white version of the comic for free, so you'll be able to... Yeah, typing with no hands. I'm using my mind. Yeah. You won't believe what I can do now. I can even do a math problem. 2 times 2, that's 4. Look at that shit. You don't get that multi-thread brain power from just laying around watching TV, Well, how do you feel being comic artiste? I'm honestly having a good time being a comic artist. I do want to get back to doing more illustrations after this for a while. I feel like if I, keep doing comics immediately after I finish the comic, I don't know how to put this. If I do something for too long, I need to change it, or else whenever I finish a big project, I won't feel good. I will just feel relieved. Same shit happened with when I graduated university, right? I didn't actually feel anything special the day I graduated. I was like, okay, I guess I graduated. I didn't really care all that much. I just knew that I was I just was happy I didn't have to do it anymore. I'm a very odd person that way. Maybe it's just because I thought of it as a bother, but that's not likely. I had a good time at university. In any case, variety is good. We're all unique people. That's also true. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I've got to drop by the Discord more often so we can talk more casually. I've been talking to you. Let's see. Is this not casually? That's a good point. I guess it doesn't get much more casual than this. This too is communication. Nice talking to you. I see how it is. You office talk me? I swear to God, I need to learn how to stop being office mode. I don't do it on purpose, I swear. I swear to God, I don't do office talk on purpose. I am working, that is true. I do work in an office, so it is justified, but at the same time, I feel like that's like now two people who have said like, you talk to me like you're at the water cooler or something, and I don't know how to judo flip that. I don't know how to counteract that. I don't know how to parry that. I gotta figure out how to talk more casually. What is up, my fellow internet nerds? No, not everybody's a nerd. I need to think of something else. Wanted to ask, how long did it take you to office talk? I realize they're saying something passive aggressive or something. Oh. Figuring out office talk. I feel like a lot of figuring that out was with one project that I did that was like really, really bad. Like that's when I first experienced like the full extent of like passive aggressive office judo. Yeah. Like I mean, obviously, maybe it happened to me before, and I just didn't catch it because I was like still new. But I think like during that one specific project, I was like mad enough at them to like realize, hey, wait a second, they're making fun of me. Yeah. Funny thing, I almost got put back on that project very recently, but then they suddenly shifted me out because of like some changes. So more power to me. It didn't feel that bad. What made me feel a lot better about the whole situation was that knowing how many problems they cost me, I know that I must have cost them just about as much. I met some very insufferable people on that project, but they also met me. Sucks to be them. I'm a younger sibling, baby. I got more experience at being annoying. Has it been your work anniversary yet? It has actually. I think on February I completed 1 year of work at my current place, which feels good, honestly, and not just because I need that to do some of my immigration stuff. Yeah, no, popped some bottles that day. I tell you what. By popped some bottles, I mean I opened up a can of rather overpriced local soda, but it was the emotion was still there. Yeah, it's been like a while. Like how do I put this? Like sometimes it just hits me like that time has passed, and I'm like, oh right, like sometimes I just remember that it's 2023 and that like more than a year has passed now. And I'm like, oh my God, it just hits me all of a sudden. Let's see. Please don't remind me about the passage of time. Too late. Now we're both entrenched in this. The passage of time isn't. I bit my lip. Anyway, the passage of time ain't all that bad. You know, there's plenty of bad, sure, but like there's some positive stuff too. Let's see. You went ha ha. I went ah ha ha, and then immediately, yeah, I stepped on a rake and then just immediately it just wanged me in the face. The fuck boy emoji. Ah. Not fuck being a fuck boy. My one weakness. Seriously, I'm always impressed by people who can like be unironic fuckboys. Not because I admire them, but because like it's like if I tried to be like that, it would just be very cringy. I would not be able to like keep up the act for more than a few minutes. Then again, for them, it's probably not much of an act. It's just how they do. But like, that's not my natural cadence. Being a fuckboy is already cringe. True. Yeah, we're not supposed to tell people this, but once you like start growing facial hair as a young man, you do have to do the ritual of the ahaha, and like if it goes like, you become a normal person, but if he goes like, you become a fuckboy. That it's like a Pokemon evolutionary thing. It's like exposure to a sun. It's like you're an Eevee and you're exposed to like a sunstone or something. Let's see. What Pokemon types would what Pokemon type are fuckboys? Fire? I think you could make an argument for like fire or like poison. I don't know. Something like that, I feel. I forget. I don't think there's like a light element in Pokemon, right? There is like a dark, but there's not a light type. There's fairy type. I know the right people to ask. We must do research on this matter. Okay, no, there is light type. I think. Wait, no. This is for a fan game. Fuck you. God damn it. Alright, so there's no light type Pokemon. However. Wait, no, that actually. Does it actually make sense? Why is it. I gained Pokemon friends. I will relay the knowledge later. Fabulous. Yeah. Pokemon type weaknesses and advantages are always fun to research into. Like, for example, I know that, like, Darkest, for example, weak to bug. I think maybe because that's a Common Rider reference, because of the fact that, like, the Common Rider is supposed to look like a bug. Grasshoppers, specifically. Let's see. Okay, grab over here. I got an instant reply. Fairy? So fuckboys would be fairy type, huh? Huh. Interesting implications, because then that means that fuckboys are strong against dragon types. This has fascinating implications for the meta. I wonder how many more Pokemon games they can put out before they need to do like a reboot for the meta. I don't think that's like the priority number one. Like, it's definitely not priority number one. You know, priority number one has and always will be printing money. But I do wonder, like, if eventually they'll be like, okay, yeah, no, we need to reset this. At least for the trading card game, I imagine that might be a concern. Trading card game players are one of the most punished people on earth. Like, I will talk to a trading card player, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I spent like $500 on a pack of cards," and like 2 months later, they were like basically all overpowered by one new card, which is very common. And they'll just say that like it's a normal thing, and that sucks. I feel sorry for them. Yeah, that's why like single player games are more my thing. I get competitive, but I'm not very good at being competitive. You know, I want to win, but I don't put in. You know, I'm busy enough that I don't have time to put into like most of the stuff I want to like really get better. Like Guilty Gear, for example, I haven't done new stuff in like Guilty Gear for like years isn't the right word, but like for a while I haven't played Guilty Gear. I don't know, man. You turned into a beast versing versing me Tetris. Adjusted your fucking anime glasses. Huh. So it's not a matter of like me being competitive, but me being competitive in the right things. Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's how it is for most people, I imagine. So if there are things I'm interested in, I really should make more of an effort to try to, you know, excel at them. I feel like that's only right. Yeah, I need to be able to adjust my anime glasses for any and all situations. I need to become like the James Bond of being an everyman. I've always liked the idea of like a jack of all trades. I think that may be why. Do you have that as a prop? I do have my nerd glasses still. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Like I adjusted them. Well, free to redeem. Ah, I got scammed then. You know what? I'm gonna do the cool thing and put these on my. You know, I'm gonna hang them from my hoodie like this. Yeah, big glasses, my tiny sack body. What does this look like in like full size? Hang on. They take up like a solid eighth of my stature. No, when you are adjusting, what these? You want them like this? We can accommodate. You look so cursed. Yeah, well, too bad. We're entrenched in this shit now. We're staying like this until the end of the stream. Yeah, I should also bring back the mustache. I haven't made a new mustache for myself. I only have like the default one. You remind me of something. Whenever I wear these glasses like too big, I get reminded of that one Squeak Squad person from Kirby. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this dude. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Because okay, so here's a picture of this little guy. When I wear these, I get reminded of this dude, particularly if I'm also wearing the mustache. Squeak Squad was a really good Kirby game. I enjoyed it a lot. Granted, it's one of the only Kirby games I've played, but nevertheless. Okay, let's see here. Okay, then over here. Come on. There we go. Perfect. And like that. Oh, right, I should also shape the straps. While I'm at it. Just a little bit of detail on the parts here. But thank you. I know what to redeem when I have enough cups of rice. And here I thought you'd make me go into horse stance again. It's been a while since someone's redeemed that, actually, come to think of it. Let's see. I mean, I was thinking about it. Oh, did I? Well, I'll be ready if you want to activate it. Just say the word, or redeem the points, I suppose. Now that I got a standing desk, doing the horse stance thing is easier, but also harder because now I can do like an actual proper horse stance instead of just adjusting to like squat without my desk. It's really interesting. It's a very interesting variation on the workout. Yeah, yeah. The desk actually feels pretty good. I don't know why, but like I prefer to have my arms like a little bit further up than like my previous desk allowed it, and this lets me do it so comfortably. It's really nice. Honestly, one of the best investments I've made. Let's see. And I can also stand with it. Is your chair still fucked up? Not no more. I got myself an actual normal office chair rather than a shitty gamer chair from Amazon. I've been making movements and investing in myself. Now all I got to do is make sure that I don't fall for the normal shit that happens to you if you sit at your desk all day. Like, don't get me wrong, having a good chair is important, but like also doing like desk exercises and whatever, stuff that like helps against desk atrophy is also super important. But at least I'm not permanently fucking up my back or something. Yeah, I am very happy with the development. Want to get a small treadmill so I can be a hamster. Oh, that'd be sweet, actually. God, I remember there was this one TikTok of like a dude who like worked for like a big law firm, and he showed off like his normal day like routine, and like he would also do the hamster style. Apparently good for being focused and working. Oh. Well, it's definitely made me good at working. I still get distracted by stuff easily. So I don't know about focus. But maybe that's more of a skill issue. I do know that sometimes it's easier to focus like when you have something in your hand. That's like the concept behind fidget spinners. I wonder if those tour box things are good for that too. Those like fancy like thingy-majigs that a bunch of people got for free that time ago. I imagine they're like basically like fidget toys, but you know they have a function as well. Let's see. This part here. Okay, just fill this in. Looking good. Okay. Man, I remember when I was a kid, I used to really want to like play around in one of those like massive plastic hamster balls. You know, the ones that like are human sized. I used to want to really try doing one of those, and I did get to do it one time, and it was glorious. But like I very soon, but I think like it was a good thing that I did it that one time, because after that I kind of like lost my taste for it. I was like, yeah, okay, I experienced it. Didn't solve my problems. I think it's it's I think it's good to like try those things out. You know, see if they really will help you. I realized the hamster lifestyle wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Or at least it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be for me personally. Your mileage may vary. Your results may be greater than mine. Then again, not all hamsters go in giant hamster balls. Maybe I'm more of like a hamster wheel kind of dude. I think we might be done for this one. Let me just check right here. No, hang on. I think that should be good enough, though. Just this little sliver of gold where that's supposed to be. Alright, let's take a look at the finished page. Oh. Alright, I need to set background back to white. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, let's back up here. Oh, those are supposed to stay on my face. My high emote is taking forever to be approved, and yet I can use this immediately? Listen, courteous greetings are absolutely not allowed, but violence is. Hang on, let me, there we go. Alright, thank you all for coming by. Yeah, I'm just gonna end things here. I think on Saturday I'm playing some more Ishin. Please come by then, and I will see you all later. Bye.